FPE Network.
Florida Park Explorers.
We explore the parks 5 to 6 days a week with great live streams and vlogs. We cover everything from rides and food to magic and fun and fireworks. So come join us on our adventures as we take you through
the Disney parks and more.
And check out our all-new channel, the FPE Network. And thanks for watching.
Smiles, laughter, togetherness. It's the stuff vacations are made of. Not just the time we spend, but the memories we make together. So let Melska Planner help you plan the most magical vacation of all. We'll make it happen while you make the memories. Melska Planner. Family vacations made magically simple.
We are live on the FPE Network Sports Channel for the first time ever. Bill Sr., Jeff Bates. Dole Dad is my YouTube channel. Bill Sr. you might know from Magic the Mouse Radio. I have been looking forward to this for about a week and a half now, 2 weeks. Bill, you excited?
I'm always excited. It's baseball season.
I love it, right? Like, so at this point last week, I was grumpy. You know why?
We had no idea when
the owners are stupid. That's right. Yes. So I don't know. This show and the Major League Baseball owners and the players getting together to have a little baseball together put me in a better mood. I'm not going to lie. So, and this show, I've been looking forward to it. Like I said, my name is Jeff Bates. Dole Dad's my YouTube channel. That's Bill Sr. from Magic the Mouse Radio. There you go. We love baseball. We can't wait to talk baseball with you. We got a whole bunch of people in chat. You want to talk to the chat? You want me to talk to the chat? How you want to handle that, Bill?
You can talk to the chat if you want.
Explore Gene Fitzmagic, Duke. I love that name. That's fun. Francisco, my buddy in the house. What's going on? Ooh, the Sam Weld in the house. Ian B's here. I should be looking at the screen. I don't know why I'm doing it like this. Frank F is in the house. Ian, I think I said hello to KK in the house. What's going on? I got a KK in my life too. Frank F in the house. I think I said hello to Gene Fitzmagic, my buddy. What's going on? The Disney Fun Addicts in the house. You're my kind of people. The Crystal Palace, hello to you. What's going on? Glad you are here. I'm probably missing people. That's my problem. When I go through chat, I feel like I miss people. Cricket Fox, glad to see you in here. The Sam Webb in the house. Listen, if I missed you, Sarah J's in the house. Oh, there's way more. Hold on. Keep scrolling. Jonathan Chong's here. Sarah J's here. Sam Webb's here. If I missed you, it's Bill's fault. I'm just excited to talk about baseball. And we have a bunch of news. So let's introduce ourselves. I'm a Dodger fan, which makes you know that I know my stuff. He knows his stuff too, although he's got what is on your head, Bill? And what's like? What? Oh, I heard they had a winning season, but I think I was mistaken.
It's baseball season. I had to dig out the summer wear.
I love it. I love it. So we've got news, and we're going to be doing this every week. It's going to be a weekly show right here on the network. We're really excited to be a part of the FPE network, the sports show, the media group, all the things. If you're new to us, thank you so much. Let's get right to it. By the way, if you're watching on replay, which I hear we have a lot of on the network, hashtag team replay in the comments. I want to know who your favorite team is. So let me know in the comments that you're watched on replay. Let me know who your favorite team is so I can tell you why you're wrong, or I can say congrats for being a Dodger fan like me. How does that sound, Bill? You like that?
Sounds good. Matt
Olson, a Brave. Did you see this one coming?
There was rumors about it over the weekend once they settled the lockout, but I really thought that they were going to re-sign Freeman. I mean, that's like letting Hank Aaron go. I mean, it's crazy. He's been the face of their franchise for years, and he's coming off two of his best years.
Yes. So if you don't
MVP
know,
the year before, and the playoffs last year was unbelievable.
it's massive. Yeah, Gene just said it. Big, massive trade. Listen, Freddie Freeman. So if you go back and watch, I just saw a replay of it. I don't know. It was something I was doing this morning. It was on the TV while I was doing some work. And it was Freddie Freeman's interview. He was still wet from winning the World Series. The guy just got to the top of the mountain. And of course, the media says, hey, what are you going to do next year? And he's all, well, I'm shocked that I'm a free agent, meaning he thought they would lock him up. The
Absolutely.
Braves, right? We all did, right? Why would you not want to lock it up? He's the face of your franchise. He's the best he's ever been right now. He just won an MVP a year ago. He's at the top of his game, and he's your best player, and you just won a World Series. Why wouldn't you want to keep him? So he was shocked that they let it go to the end of the season. Then he's shocked that they don't sign him before the lockout. I heard tonight, about an hour and a half ago, his agent, I don't know if they put it out on Twitter or whatever, the Braves didn't even reach out to Freddie Freeman when the trade was done. He learned about it like we all did.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable is right. Disrespect,
I just don't understand it. I understand it's a business, but Freddie Freeman's not any Braves player. He's like the Chipper Jones of this era now.
I think that's a good call. I mean, not to compare him because that's a rough one, but yes, in the locker room, certainly. If I'm a Braves fan, I'm not a happy guy. Peter Jameson, welcome in. Football Sam, welcome in. I'm going to miss a lot of you guys. I apologize. Please don't take it personally if I don't say your name. Skip Ogre, that's fun to say. I won't forget to say that one. I want to point out, what was it? Peter Jameson said it. Freeman, I heard, is going to Toronto. Doesn't make sense to me because Vlad Guerrero's there. Now, Vlad Guerrero can play a little third, but he's a butcher block with a glove. He could be a DH, which seems more likely.
Yeah, I heard that.
Maybe. What do you think?
Well, I heard that earlier too. I didn't know he's from Canada, or he's got dual citizenship.
He's dual citizen. That's right. He's a dual. He played in 2017 in the WBC for Canada? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that could work out good up there because, Freeman could be your first baseman. And like you said, I don't know if you just missed it, but Vlad could be your DH because he's not very strong with the glove. But Freddie Freeman's one of the best defenders at first base in both legs.
Yeah. Well, and free agent says it right there. I love that. Maybe that says more about Freeman than we know. I don't think it does, but maybe, right? We don't really know.
Yeah.
What goes on I guess in certain locker rooms, they keep it quiet. All I've ever heard and read is what a great guy Freddie Freeman is.
It could come down to ownership and the agent. I mean, the agent could have rubbed them the wrong way. And it's like,
sounds to me like the Braves. See, there's two worlds that I'm looking at. It sounds like the Braves haven't been communicating with Freddie Freeman, but then today, Antrel, however you say the GM's name in Atlanta, when he's talking about it, he was choking up. Yeah. Hey, Freddie's going to be a friend for life. This is a business. I hated to do it. If he's a friend for life, how come you didn't call him and say, hey, we're making a move, right?
They say it, like I said earlier, they say it's a business, but whatever happened to common courtesy? I mean, you guys been in your organization for what, 12, 15 years or what, however long it's been since he got drafted, but I just don't understand it. You give, a 1-minute phone call. Hey, Freddie, we got to move on. We just made a trade, and good luck to you.
It sounds like they made their decision. They didn't want to back up the Brinks truck. Jafar the Genie in the house. I'll be nice because you've got the power. Go Yankees. I disagree with that part, but I like that you're here, buddy, and I'm glad to see you in chat. So let's get on to the football field, onto the baseball field. Matty Olson isn't Freddie Freeman, but he's pretty freaking close. I think Freddie Freeman, Vlad Guerrero are probably the best first baseman going right now. And then 1A.
Yeah, I don't know. Bat-wise, Vlad is probably a little bit above Olson, but all around, I think him and Freeman are 1A.
Olson's got a better glove than Freeman, which is saying a lot. Oh. He bashed 39 last year. It's not a big step back. It's not like you're putting in,
the only thing that they might lose between Freeman and Olson is maybe the leadership in the clubhouse.
But they get 2 years of Olson at a way lower price.
Yep.
It makes a lot of sense. Now they gave away some big prospects. I'm not going to pretend like I expect everyone to know the prospects. 4 of the top 15 prospects do go to Oakland. It's just the way Oakland is. I don't know how I would feel to being an Oakland A's fan. They've got a great history, but boy, from Moneyball or back to Ricky Henderson to, Billy Ball and all that, I don't see them getting back for a while. Like, I'm not saying Matt Olson was everything, but they just traded Chris Bassett. I don't know how the A's, can possibly continue to think they're going to win by giving away their best players every year. But
I mean, it's the way they've been doing things. They might have a down year for a year, but they always wind up back. But it's just the system that they run. It just seems like if they do make the playoffs, they can't get past the first round or at most the second round. I mean, for what, the last 20 years?
Yeah. Snackle Rock, that's an awesome name. Welcome in. Yeah, they say he's good in the clubhouse. Exactly. Blaze Peppermint, welcome in. I'm glad you're here. Hey, Pete, what's going on, my man? Wait, did they get Mary Kate or Ashley? I prefer the other one, but that's a whole nother conversation. I'm more of a Captain Marvel girl, Captain Marvel guy. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, somebody had a question about the Yankees. Let's get to anything else you want to say about the Matt Olson, Freddie Freeman thing? Because I'm ready to move on to the Yankees if you are.
Well, I'd like to move anywhere but okay.
On the go with CeeLo. That's fun to say. I'm going to say that again. On the go with CeeLo. I'm glad you're a Braves fan here. I'm okay with the trade. I'm glad to hear that. Let me know what you think. If you're a Braves fan, if you're not a Braves fan, who wins the trade? Now, the trade is 4 prospects for Matt Olson, but it's really you're losing Freddie Freeman, but you're reloading with Matt Olson. I will say this before we leave. I will say this. Hey, Seth, what's going on? I will say this. As a Dodger fan who wants the Braves to come down a little, they reloaded well. They did. Christian Pache, I love, but he can't hit yet. I'm not sure if he ever will. He's going to be a great glove. The other people didn't matter last year at all. And now we lose Freddie Freeman, but you get Matt Olson. I would like to have thought their first baseman was going to be a little lower on the list.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Like I said, I don't think they've dropped a whole lot from the end of last season, and I think they're going to be right. Dodgers and them down to the end this year. And we'll see what the Giants did. The Giants were kind of surprising last year.
Giants had a great year. So if you're new here, welcome in. I'm glad you're here. First edition of Breaking Balls here on the FPE Network, the Sports Network, the Media Group. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad Bill's here. We're going to have a lot of fun every Monday night talking baseball all season long. This is me with only a couple sips of coffee, so I talk too fast. Good news. You can listen faster than I can talk. It's going to be fun.
New Jersey. You sound like you're from New Jersey.
I just like baseball. And I think that people should listen faster. So just listen faster. But anyway, we just need to talk about the Yankees. Somebody in chat asked the question. The Yankees are doing some interesting things. So I live in Fort Worth, Texas. We just traded away Kiner Falefa to the Twins. We got the big bop and catcher. Then they flip all of that plus Josh Donaldson over to the Yankees. The Yankees give up Gary Sanchez and some other stuff. What do you think about the Yankees trade? Do you want to talk about it? Or what are your thoughts?
That's an interesting trade. Him coming to the Yankees. I know he's had a few beefs over the year, Donaldson, with a couple of the Yankees players. So that should be interesting as far as that goes in the clubhouse. We'll see how that shakes out.
He's an interesting guy, isn't he? I think that you either love him or you hate him, and sometimes the same people love him and hate him. Hey, Sonny.
Yeah, I mean, he might have tailed off a little bit last year, but he's been a steady player for 10, 12 years. And
Big Irish said what I'm thinking. It is a strange trade. I don't quite get it. I think they're lucky to get rid of Sanchez, and I know some Yankees fans might not like that I say that. Ooh, I love your logo there, Big Irish. Gary Sanchez has said he was getting run out of town. So they're pretty excited about that. I like Falefa. I don't think they're done. We've got Correa on the list, Carlos Correa, to talk about. I think if Correa doesn't sign in Houston, he's going to go to New York. They've got Falefa now. I don't think he's really going to be their shortstop. I think it's going to be Correa. I don't know if we're jumping too much away from the trade already, but what are your thoughts on that?
I think Correa is going to wind up back in Houston myself.
Do you?
Yeah, I could be wrong. I've been wrong once or twice or more.
I think that Houston or New York are the likely places, but you never know. I mean,
that would be another funny fit with him in New York too. I know there's been some bad blood there when the Yankees played the Astros in playoffs and all. So.
I keep reading about the Dodgers, and as a Dodger fan, please, Lord, no, it makes no sense.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, they could use a shortstop. I mean,
whatever. We got Trey Turner. We got the best shortstop in baseball. What are you talking about?
But the other thing, going back to Donaldson, I mean, last year when the big thing was checking the pitchers out for the substances, for the spin rate, and all like that, one of the guys that in a press conference that Donaldson, kind of dimed out was Garrett Cole, and. So that should be interesting. Them two in the same club.
Yes. So Garrett Cole is an interesting fella. So it's hard to say if you're a big look at. I love the Dodgers, and I know Trevor Bauer's a guy that no one wants to admit they like right now. I'm a Trevor Bauer fan. Sorry, not sorry. We'll talk about that. I'm sure people will hate me for it. I'm sure it is what it is. Bauer and Cole hate each other. Bauer and Cole hate each other since UCLA, and I think They're both just type A weirdos. Cole and Donaldson ain't going to be buddies. They
No.
ain't.
No, that's for sure. It's not sounding like it, but we'll see.
Captain Caveman in the house. That's fun to say. He thinks Correa will be back. Obviously, he means Houston. Who do you think? And we're bouncing around a little bit. I apologize. It's out of the order we talked about. But AL West, I got asked by two separate people today who I thought was going to win the AL West. I think the answer is Houston, but I think it's going to be easy for me to argue with myself and say Seattle now. They're doing some good things up there, man.
Yeah, and supposedly they're saying they're not done. They're still shopping for a little more. So we'll see. They've definitely added some bats, and they needed some bats. So they should pick up some extra wins this year. And the A's, I mean, and obviously they're going to go back a step. And the Angels, they're going to be the Angels. I mean,
I don't see the Angels having enough pitching. As a Rangers fan, I'm hopeful. I don't think they're done. I love their new GM, Chris Young, the big tall stud. I don't think they're there yet. They don't have the pitching. So I think it's Houston.
But you got to admit, though, the Rangers have definitely made some giant leaps forward.
I'm excited. I keep every day I look at season ticket small packages and stuff, and I'm not going to do it because I won't go to enough games. But hey, Team Marie, what's going on? Glad you're here. Welcome in. Hey, Joby Smith in the house. Yeah, she's hot. I don't know who you're talking about, but okay, there you go. Type A weirdos are type B worse, right? Ian, exactly. Monorail's forever, Steve. What's going on? I'm glad you guys are here. Again, my name is Jeff. That's Bill. Brand new show here on the FBE Network Sports Media Group. I'm excited to be here. We're going to be here every Monday night talking baseball. We bounced around a little bit. I guess we should stay on Seattle and the Reds. So the Reds traded away Gray. The Reds trade away Winker and Suarez in the same deal. They get a big pile of prospects, and that's fine. We can talk about the prospects, but this is not a prospects show. Oh, there you go. The agent. Exactly, Joby. Joby knows his stuff. Anyway, I'm not going to say that the Reds didn't get some good stuff back. I am going to say Seattle is loaded right now. I love Winker. I like Suarez. I'm not going to try to pronounce his first name because it's hard to say. But that guy matches 49 3 years ago or whatever. There you go. Winker rakes. Now he doesn't hit against the lefties as much as maybe a Matty Olson. But this is a good lineup. I like what Seattle's doing. I like it a lot. I think if Correa doesn't sign in Houston, I might be picking Seattle. What say you, Bill?
In the West, I would have to say they're definitely, after the trades and the moves that they made, that they got to be the leaders right now to win the West. There's really not much out there. Like you said, the Rangers, they're lacking pitching. The Angels are lacking pitching. This year, the A's, they're definitely going to take a step back. So, yeah, it all depends on Correa. I think without Correa, I think they definitely take a big step back there.
Yeah.
So it could come down still to Houston and Seattle in that division, I think.
Hey, Jeffrey, welcome in. I'm glad you're here. Frank F. knows what's going on. He says he wants to rape the Reds for the rest of the team. Sorry. I want the Yankees to trade for Votto and Castillo. Leaving the Reds a pile of what? Is it just spaghetti? What's up with the spaghetti? Why do we put chili on spaghetti? Like, what the heck's that?
Oh, that's good stuff. Have you never tried it?
I have not had it. Someday I will.
When I used to do spring training games, the photography down in Florida, they had a Cincinnati chili dog place down in Naples, and I loved it. A friend of mine turned me on to it. It was great.
What's it called? Like chili 5-way or something like that?
Five-way, yeah, with the cheese, the onion. That's good.
If in Cincinnati someday, I don't know.
Now,
I don't have plans. It's not on my top 4,000 places to visit list, but
I've been there. But somebody in the chat might know that's a Reds fan. Are they just dumping, or is there some big time prospects that are ready to make the jump to the major leagues, and they're just clearing dollars and making room
like they're
for these
dumping
guys?
To me, and I don't understand. I felt like they were right on the precipice,
Yeah. Well, the one thing that Reds fans, I think right now could be a little happy. The prospect that they got back from Minnesota.
Yeah.
Chase Petty. He went to high school 5 minutes from where I'm sitting right now. And he was clocked last year when all the scouts were here watching every game of his. He was clocked at 101, 102 as an 18-year-old. So we'll see how that plays out. He didn't do a lot last year after he got drafted. And he was supposedly on the mound and pitched a little batting practice session the other day for Minnesota, and then got traded afterwards.
Nice. Well, it's as a fan of a team, when you have a bunch of prospects, that's a lot of fun. But if I'm a Reds fan or if I'm an A's fan, I'm not feeling real good today. I'm really not.
Yeah, he's 4 or 5 years away, coming out of high school, but he's definitely got a big arm, and he was pretty much around the plate a lot. He wasn't, guys that throw that fast, and especially young, that they're all over the place. But he had, for an 18-year-old kid, he had some decent control.
Our boy Gene says Reds could be good. Not this year, man. They just got rid of everybody. Winker is out. He's out. And no, he's I think he's got 2 years of arbitration still. Somebody asked about Matty Chapman. Is he going to leave Oakland? I think it's likely. We heard a lot of rumors that he'd get traded last year.
Well, they were both on rumors this week, both of them, him and Olsen. So I think he could be going too. Maybe, if not now, maybe by the deadline in July.
Yeah. A lot of people, I have seen him lately on a lot of overrated lists, and I do not agree. No. Cincinnati spaghetti sauce, it says. Ugh, I mean, chili is good. Skyline chili in Cincinnati. I've not had it, Frank. I haven't had it.
Skyline chili. That's the one that's down in Naples, Florida. I went there many times. I loved it.
Everybody's saying Yankees, Braves. Nah. I mean, they could have been good. Oh, Gene, that's what I figured you meant, actually. I mean,
here's my question with the Yankees. Are they bringing Father Time back for another year in center field? Brett Gardner?
I know, right? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. So it's probably too early, and we got more subjects to talk about, and not just throw out rumors, but I think we might be at the end of the Aaron Judge in New York time. I really do.
Really?
Football Sam in the house, what's going on? I do. I think that, well, it's a whole probably other conversation that we'll get to. But anyway, let's just move on. Can we move on? I want to talk about Fernando Tatis. Is that all right? I think
you and Fernando your California boys.
What's that?
You and your California boys. Okay.
No, I'm a Dodgers fan. I'm from San Diego. Actually, yeah, I've got I do. I thought it was. I got the San Diego mug today, just representing my old hometown. Captain Caveman says Dodgers. I knew I liked you. Captain Caveman, that's just fun to say. It makes me think of the Flintstones, so I like you already. Speak easy, Jim. What's going on? Anyway, Fernando Tatis gets hurt. Fernando Tatis falls off of a motorcycle. Fernando Tatis admits he gets hurt, says it's not serious. Fernando Tatis has his physical today. Fernando Tatis says he's fine, but it just hurts right now. It's broke. He broke it on the motorcycle. I don't have any proof of it, but of course he did. And here's an interesting tidbit. You freaking stupid owners, you. If you're an owner of a Major League Baseball team, hey, thanks for being in the chat. But you screwed this up. He couldn't call the doctors. Are you freaking kidding me? Yeah. He falls off of the motorcycle. He breaks his wrist, likely, and he couldn't call the doctors because why? You locked out the players, you freaking idiots. What say you, Bill? Do you think I'm a conspiracy theorist on that?
Well, you got nobody to blame but as far as that goes, but the owners.
Spencer.
But don't the players in baseball, I know in football they do, don't they have things in their contract written?
Yes.
They can't do it. Who was the tight end, Winslow's son? Wasn't he one that was in an accident?
Kellen Winslow Jr. Yeah, but I mean, it happened. Derek Holland, right here in town, fell down the stairs with his because of his dog. It happens a lot. There's
well, Winslow was on the motorcycle. He got in an accident and got hurt.
Yeah, the Padres are hurt. Yeah, Tatis is hurt again. This guy is, hey, Leash, what's going on, buddy? I'm glad you're here. This guy is, who's more talented than him in the Major League Baseball? There's nobody more talented than him. And I don't adhere to that whole silly he's injury prone thing. I will say this. You're an idiot if you are on a motorcycle and you're a Major League ball player. You can retire at 36, 40 if you're lucky, and go ride your motorcycle to your heart's freaking content. I don't understand why this would happen. Now, here's what I think. He's never going to admit that it was on a motorcycle, right? And the Padres aren't going to do it anyway, because what are the Padres going to do? They're going to avoid his contract? Of course they're not. So there's really nothing that they can do other than just.
And they're saying the accident on the motorcycle was back in December.
Yes. And it's funny, by the way, I saw this earlier today. The Major League Baseball lockout longer than Tom Brady's retirement. I find that pretty freaking hilarious. Yeah, the tight end says, Gene, yeah, it was Kellen Winslow Jr. I'm a big Kellen Winslow. I'm from San Diego. Big Kellen Winslow fan. Boy, did he have a dodo for a son. Let's see what's going on in chat. He was on the Browns. Boy, my Cowboys making some moves too, but that's a whole nother thing. Bumgarner, that's right. I forgot about that one, Ian. You're right. That's exactly right. Bumgarner was on a motorcycle accident and almost never the same again. That's exactly right. Yeah. And boy, that's an angry man right there, Madison Bumgarner.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the new Cleveland name, the Guardians? Let's do it. I mean, by the way, we're not done with all the topics, but if you have questions, comments, or concerns, best way to do it is put question in caps or at one of us that will pop up in chat. But we're going to do some questions at the end of the show. We'll always do it, but hit us whenever you want. I don't want anyone to think we're ignoring you. Hey, my personal bully's in the house. You see my personal bully? Did you know I have a personal bully, Bill? She's in the chat right now. What's going on? I'm glad you're
here. I thought it was me.
Yeah, you try. Joby wants to know what we think of the Cleveland name. Well, I like the Indians.
You're not a fan.
I guess
same thing with, I know it's off topic, with football with Washington. Come on, the Commanders. I guess that's all they could come up with because the guy in Alexandria, Virginia, had went through and copyrighted about.
No, dude, I'm telling you. I mean, this is a baseball show, but they should have been the Hogs.
Yeah.
Washington should have been the Hogs. It's perfect. Yeah. But the Indians. So I'm not from Cleveland. I would have done something rock and roll. By the way, here Dolly Parton said no thanks. I don't do rock and roll. Anyway, way off topic. But I guess the Guardians is a thing in Cleveland. If the locals like it, I'm for it. As a non-local, so when I think of Cleveland, I think of Charlie Sheen. Oh my gosh, what's that? Drew Carey and the Hall of Fame, and the Indians. And now I don't think of that anymore. I don't think of the Browns. I really don't. So I don't know. I don't like it. But are there any Cleveland locals in the house in the chat right now? If you're from Cleveland, let me know what you think, because that's what I'd want to hear. Bill and Jeff, I did go to the Baseball Hall of Fame last year, and I really like it. I've never been. I know for a fact you have. Bill, why don't you tell your Baseball Hall of Fame story while we're talking about it?
Oh, I've been a few times. I've been up there with my son, obviously, when he was younger, and he went to the Dreams Park up there and played with Mike Trout. And then I went up and played some geezer ball myself. And my claim to fame in Cooperstown is I hit a home run at Doubleday.
I'm so jealous of that. I really am not a jealous guy. I don't get jealous very often. This is my jealous face.
It was fair by this much.
That would have sucked.
It hit the fair side of the foul pole and ricocheted into the stands down the third baseline.
That's even cooler. I love that. Can you imagine that story being a little bit different? I just missed a home run.
Oh, yeah.
That would have sucked.
Yeah, it's fun. I love Cooperstown is great. I mean, the first time I went there, nobody's ever been. I don't want to get off topic here too much, but
that's okay. Let us know in chat if you've ever been to Cooperstown while Bill tells the story.
The best time to go to the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown is in October during the playoffs, World Series time, maybe a little earlier in the playoffs now because they're kind of extended. But not only is it beautiful there with the foliage and all like that, but it's just really a cool time to be there during the playoffs. The first time I went, I was in there for 6.5 hours. I read every plaque on all 3 or 4 floors, whatever it was. I read every plaque in there. I was like a kid in a candy shop.
I love vacationing with my daughters and my wife, and I've got some grandkids now, so I'm sure I'll love to vacation with them in the future too. When I first get to go there, because I've not been yet. I'm a San Diego boy who moved to Dallas, so I'm moving my way closer, I guess, right? But I don't know why I said Dallas, the Dallas area. I'm in Fort Worth. I'm going to need some time. Like, they're going to need to go home, I think. I'm going to need to spend all day there because I'm not going to want to miss it. And I can tell you the day I'm going to probably go when Clayton Kershaw gets inducted. I can't imagine not moving mountains to go to that one.
I was there the year, was it 94, I guess it would have been, because Mike Schmidt retired in 89. So I was there when him and Richie Ashburn got in, and my son was like 3 years old. And the main street in Cooperstown, there's all kinds of memorabilia shops there. And during the induction, they have all kinds of Hall of Fame players and old players signing autographs. And there was a table out in front of one of the stores, and Don Larson was doing autographs. And my son, I don't know where the picture is, but I got a picture of my son. It was like an 8-foot fold-up table. And it kind of looked like the thing where you see the guy's nose on the table with his hands up there, and all you see is the eyes. That was a picture of my son with Don Larson signing an autograph for him.
I love it. If you're a regular of the show, this is our first time, so I should reintroduce us. We're halfway through the show. My name's Jeff Bates. Dope Dad is my YouTube channel. I'm really, really excited to meet all you. This is Bill Senior, we should call him, from Magic the Mouse Radio and all the other Magic the Mouses you can find on YouTube and on the other socials. We love baseball. We're going to be talking baseball with you every Monday right here on the network, the FBE network, the sports network, the media group. I'm glad you're here. And if you stay, you're going to hear about Bill Senior, son, Bill Jr., and he's got some really neat stories. He's shared a little bit before, but there's a Mike Trout angle and all that, and he'll share it when he wants to. I'm really loving all the conversation in chat. A lot of people, it looks like, have been to Cooperstown. You're just making me jealous, people. I've been such a beautiful town. Love Cooperstown. Cooperstown's fantastic. I really want to go.
Even if the Baseball Hall of Fame wasn't there, it's really a nice town. There's so much to do in the area. If the wife and kids go with you or whatever, there's plenty for them to do to drop you off at the Hall of Fame. They can go have lunch down at the Otisaga Hotel. And I mean, it's just beautiful right there on the lake.
I've got a good friend who's got family in the area, so I'll probably crash at his house one time. This is a perfect place for a break. Producer Dave is going to send you away, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back in about a minute.
Could go all the way.
I'm glad you didn't go anywhere. You're here after the break. My name is Chef Bates. Dole of Dad's my channel. This is Bill Sr. from Magic the Mouse Radio. He's my good friend. He's awesome except for that trash on his head, but we'll get that fixed. My goal in life is to get him to be a Dodger fan by the All-Star break. We'll see how that goes.
What
happened to you? Did you get hit in the head? How did you become a Phillies fan?
It never happened. When I was a kid, supposed to be in bed by 8 o'clock. I always had the transistor radio in the spring, summer, and fall under the pillow listening to the Phillies game till 10, 11 o'clock at night. Been a fan since I was about, I'd say, since 69.
You can get vaxxed for that, I'm pretty sure. Okay, we'll move on. So we've talked about Matt Olson, Freddie Freeman. We talked about Fernando Tatis. We talked about the Reds. I'll call it a fire sale. Sonny Gray's gone. Winker's gone. Suarez. The Mariners look like they're going to be players this year. We've got a little bit of Correa talk where he's going to go. We're still going to talk about Adrian Gonzalez. We're still going to talk about Sandy Koufax, Trevor Story, Chris Bryant. But first, we had a question in chat that I didn't want to ignore. Steroids in baseball. Guys not going to the Hall of Fame. It's probably something we could talk a whole hour for. Give me a minute or so. I'll give a minute or so. What are your thoughts on some of the best players in the history of the freaking game not getting in the World Series because of steroids? Go.
Big Poppy's going in this year. He's linked. He's been linked to steroids. He was one of the names that was leaked back then. One of the initial findings came out, whatever the year was, and he got voted in. Piazza was another one. He was another one that was always linked, never came out officially, linked to steroids. He's in. So yeah, like you said, we could go on. We could talk all night on this, and I'm just going to get my jersey temper up.
Sonny Gray went to the Twins. Somebody asked in chat. I want to throw that out there. We talked about that a little bit earlier. Sonny Gray is no joke. Sonny Gray is filthy. I would love Sonny Gray on my team. You're kind of a quasi Twins fan. You got a connection to the Twins. You kind of root for the Twins.
Oh yeah, I root for the Twins. So I was happy when Chase Petty got drafted by them last year. Like out of high school, because when I did the photography, I worked for the Twins as a contract photographer for about 4 or 5 years, and then a company that I worked for in California, I used to do spring training every year in Fort Myers, and I did the Twins. And it's a great organization. The people that I always dealt with and the offices there were great people, and it's even if you're not a Twins fan, that's something you got to go see in Fort Myers. Like, you'll watch a lot of the games will start coming on this weekend. You look at some of the stadiums, half full, 3/4 full. You go to the Twins game, and they've added on more now. And it's just the way that those people in the upper Midwest, that they support the Twins. I mean, it's like you're in Minneapolis, but they just put palm trees there. I mean, they really support, and it's really a good place to go to. And you got access to the backfields to go watch the minor leaguers play. And, it's really a nice complex.
Yeah, I've heard the same. I'm going to give my take on the steroids thing for everybody in chat. You, Bill, do me a favor, read Ian B's comment, and I'll let you comment on it when we get back. Steroid guys, I think that it's Major League Baseball. So I fall on the player side almost 100% of the time. The players brought baseball back, and the Major League Baseball knew what was going on and allowed it to happen. For the sports writers to retroactively hold these guys out, out of spite, in my never so humble opinion, I think it's disgusting. I think what we need to do is kind of twofold, but the main thing is get rid of the sports writers voting for the Hall of Fame.
Oh,
they
absolutely.
have clearly proven that they're not good at this.
Yeah,
and it shouldn't be that freaking hard.
And there's too many attitudes. Oh, he won't talk to me. I'll never vote for him.
Barry Bonds was a prick, is a prick. And Roger Clemens was disliked too by the media. And I think we don't talk about that obvious situation enough as it goes to the Hall of Fame. I'm not even going to get into the politics of the Curt Schilling thing. Curt Schilling is hated by a bunch of
liberal Democrats. I'll say he's hated by a bunch of liberal Democrats.
Leftists. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to piss anybody off. I'm not taking a political stance here, but a bunch of writers who hate Schilling because of his political stance. I find that disgusting.
I'd like to go back to the days when I was in school and you were in school. I never knew.
Why do we care?
Was a Republican.
I don't care how Schilling votes. I don't care how Bonds votes.
Exactly.
If Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens. If Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens and Curt Schilling aren't Hall of Famers, why do we have one?
Yeah.
So there's
obviously one of the top 5 pitchers ever, and one of the top 3, fielding position players ever.
Exactly what the Disney fanatic said. The summer of Sosa and McGuire saved baseball, in my not so humble opinion. I'll put in there.
But that's where it all started.
Exactly.
With McGuire with a can of cream in his locker. That's where it all started.
Mark Carlinhouse, welcome in. I'm glad you're here. Publix Field at Joker Merchant Stadium is awesome too. That sounds awesome. That's probably a different conversation, but
that's in Lakeland, Florida. I've been there. The Detroit Tigers. That's a great stadium.
Interesting. I hope I said hi to everybody in chat. I'm doing probably a horrible job of that. I'm glad you guys are here. So let's get to it. So my steroid stake. I said it. We'll move on. We got a couple more things. Koufax, Agon, Trevor, and Chris Bryant. Chris Bryant has been linked to the Rockies. I think this makes a lot of sense for stats. I think it makes a lot of sense for the Rockies. I think the NL West for the next 4 or 5 years is the Dodgers, the Giants, and the Padres. I think it is 4 or 5 levels down to get to the Diamondbacks and the Rockies. Bryant ain't going to put them over the hump. So as an owner, I have no idea why you'd want him. As a GM, I have no idea why you'd want him in Colorado. This guy is a stud, though. I love him. He lifts the ball. He's got a perfect swing for Colorado. He can play all the positions. They would be lucky to have him. I don't think it makes a lot of sense to be paying anybody at that rate when they're going to be there. I think as a Dodger fan, I'm glad he's not going to sign in San Francisco again because that was scary. What say you, Bill? Do you think he'll end up in Colorado? And if so, is that a good fit for him?
I was hoping he'd end up someplace a little further east, since his childhood friend and next door neighbor, currently plays for the Phillies, and he's been lobbying for him. So it's kind of quieted down. So we'll see. But that was the latest today with him to the Rockies. I don't know. I'd love to see him in Philadelphia, but again, talking about the Hall of Fame, he's got a guy that's got Hall of Fame caliber talent. Whether that'll factor in over the next 15 years or however long his career goes. But if he plays in Colorado for a length of period of time, if he goes there, it'll be held against him.
I'm wondering, maybe not anymore. A couple are starting to get in, but you might be right. I wonder if the rumors are just about where he lives. He's a Vegas boy. He lives in Vegas. Him and Bryce Harper are buddies. We'll see. Bobby asked a great question. Favorite, he said, Jeff, how do you put it? What my favorite baseball movie is. I got to be real with you. I don't usually like sports movies. Most sports movies I find, it bugs me when the actor can't throw. I'm just going to put it out there. If he can't throw, don't do it. But I just watched 42. I'm a big Jackie Robinson fan. Love it. Enjoyed Bull Durham very much, but I don't think I loved Bull Durham as much of I loved Bull Durham. It was a great movie.
Yeah, I wasn't. It was okay. I wasn't a big fan of Bull Durham.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it had some good scenes.
It's Field of Dreams. I don't like to admit crying in public, but that one gets me, man. Playing catch with Dad. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's the story itself. That's probably in my top 3. But not being a Yankees fan, I still love to see when it comes on. It doesn't come on as much anymore, but Pride of the Yankees, when Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth plays in there as himself.
So for those of you who are under 300 years old, that was a movie back in BC. When was that? I don't know. I love these questions, by the way. Keep the questions coming. That's a lot of
fun. It was BB before Bates.
I like that. Gene says 61 is phenomenal. I've never seen 61.
61's that was a good movie. I enjoyed that one.
I'm with Frank though. Nothing beats Field of Dreams. Like if you ask me my favorite baseball movie, I just told you it's Field of Dreams. It's probably, and I love movies, by the way. I love movies. Probably my top 5. My greatest favorite all-time movie is Godfather 2, but for me, Field of Dreams is right up there.
Yeah, I really enjoyed last year. I didn't realize that they're bringing the game back again this year out there at the Field of Dreams. I really enjoyed
I learned that today
year.
in my earlier chat. Yeah. Gene says it. Billy Crystal directed it with this bent up 1952 Mickey Mantle in his pocket the whole time. That's a pretty cool story. I'm a big Billy Crystal fan. I actually end my live streams often with "Have Fun Storming the Castle." It's kind of a play on Mad Max or Mad Max. No, it wasn't his name. What was his name? Billy Crystal's name in The Princess Bride was it Mad Max? Let me know in the chat. Let me know. I feel like it's Mad Max. All right. I love these questions. Please keep them coming. We got about 18 more minutes. Let's reset. My name is Jeff Bates. Dole Whip Dad is my YouTube channel. We are on the FPE network, the media group. I'm excited to be here. We'll be here every Monday night. This is my buddy, Bill. We are good friends. I don't know what's on his head, but other than that, he's awesome. Magic of the Mouse Radio and all the other Magic of the Mouse stuff you'll find all over, the internets, as they say. We're going to be talking baseball every Monday night. Please make it a regular thing for you. You don't like the Dodgers because, I don't know, is it mental illness? I don't know.
I don't dislike the Dodgers. I mean, I always enjoyed Tommy Lasorda when he came into Philadelphia. Him and the Fanatic went at it all the time. Especially when the Fanatic had his he had the dummy on the back of his quad and he had it in the Tommy Lasorda uniform. And, he had
look up the video. Tommy takes care of business. It's pretty fun. It's all over YouTube.
I mean, they were great. But back when you guys kicked our brains in, and was it 75, 6 and 7?
77 and 78 and 80.
Yeah, in the playoffs. Yeah,
not
whatever.
80. Not 80.
Yeah, but I got to go way back, though. Again, it's BB before Bates. Back to 1950, when the Phillies they lost 5 games in a row at the end of the season, and they came up down to the last game of the season against who? The Brooklyn Dodgers. Who did they beat to make it into the playoffs? The Brooklyn Dodgers.
So raise your hand in chat if you're 312 years old and you have ever heard that story before. I love it, though. And that I promise this, whether you like it or not, I promise this. We're going to have some nostalgia on the show. We both love the history of baseball. So we're going to work in some old stuff. We're going to talk the news and notes. We're going to watch the games live. We're going to talk about what's going on today, but we're also, I promise, I guarantee it, we're going to talk about 70s baseball and 50s baseball and the great Ty Cobb era. I love baseball history, and I know Bill does too. So if you love that stuff, you're going to want to hear. I mean, I'm making fun of Bill because that's what I do, but it's going to be a blast. And if you like the history of baseball, I promise we're going to talk about it more.
Well, one more thing on the history of baseball today in baseball history. This is like a monumental day. Today, I believe it was in 1954. The career of Hank Aaron started. His first spring training game. He hit a home run in his first spring training game in 1954 today. And Ted Williams was in the clubhouse, and he come running out of the clubhouse. The story goes, he couldn't believe. He had to see who made that sound with the bat. He'd never heard it before.
Hit that one. Yeah. It was Hammer and Hank.
So
I love that story.
Yeah, the career started today in 1954.
And that was on this date. Yeah. And there's also a great Satchel Paige story. You want to share the Satchel Paige story?
Yeah. Okay.
We threw a curveball to our producer, Dave. I didn't know he was going to talk about it right then. I would have told you, but I love it. So yeah, Satchel Paige on this date in history became a player and manager in the Negro Leagues at the ripe young age of 50 years old. I love Satchel Paige. My dad, we weren't real close, but he's a baseball nut. I was a baseball nut. When he was a kid, he worked at St. Louis Stadium, sold peanuts, sold beer, all the stuff, right? He lived right down the road. Great stories. He had all the cards. He had all the autographs. I didn't get a lot of his stuff. He went off to be in the Marines. His mom gave away most of the stuff, but it was before he passed, excuse me. Right at the end of his life, he got a couple boxes and he sent it to me. And there was some amazing stuff in there. A lot of Musial things, a lot of Cardinal things, but including that, St. Louis was for at least 1 year, couple of years, they had the Cardinals and the Browns. And at the end of his career, Satchel Paige played for the Browns. So you got to go in the Wayback Machine to know who Satchel Paige is. Don't look behind you or you'll find out somebody's catching you, something like that. Love Satch. Gene, I love you more and more. I love that you even know who I'm talking about. Love that. I have an autograph. I didn't find it, but here's the problem. I went and found a picture of it that I have, and I'm a little worried that it's fake, but there it is. My dad got me that. It's I'm a little worried because the S doesn't look like, and the P look a little weird, but that's purportedly an autograph by the great Satchel Paige. I don't know why it would have been a fake because my dad was a kid when he got it, and he says he met him, so it doesn't look like all the autographs, but it is what it is. I love the Negro Leagues. I when I was very young, I got to meet Buck O'Neil. I think it was at a card shop or a card show or something. I don't really remember the setting, to be very honest with you, but he was such a nice man. He was just like a grandpa old man, and I don't know how old I was. I think I was like maybe junior high or maybe a little younger than that. And he just talked baseball with me like for quite some time. I was like really lucky and just fell in love with him and the Negro Leagues from that. I didn't really know what the Negro Leagues were until I met him that day. And if you love the history of baseball, you should really check it out. It's pretty good stuff. But I ask you that on purpose. I ask you about your hate for the Dodgers because I wanted to ask you, greatest left-hander of all time. Go ahead. I think you're going to say Steve Carlton.
Oh, without a doubt.
Really?
Yeah, without a doubt.
So Lefty Grove to me would be a fair argument, but other than Lefty Grove, for me, it's
Sandy Koufax
or Randy Johnson. Maybe
would have probably been the best, one of the top 3 left-handers ever. If he didn't have to retire, said Doyle.
Yeah. So for the peak, so there's 2 ways, in my never so humble opinion, there's really 2 ways to judge greatness in baseball. Longevity is one, Pete Rose, Ty Cobb, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays. And then there's peak value, right? Barry Bonds. Well, Barry Bonds would be on both of those lists, but Barry Bonds, Sandy Koufax, Roger freaking Maris, right. Peak years, right? For me, peak year lefty, Sandy freaking Koufax.
In the 60s. Best righty, Bob Gibson. Probably best lefty was Koufax.
Well, the reason I ask is I'm really excited about this. The Dodgers had a lot of trouble keeping some of the greats in the game connected to the Dodgers under the Frank McCourt era. I think that was his name. I hope I
that was right. That was a black eye for the Dodgers.
Yeah, it was. It was horrible. And so Oliver Perez, greatest lefty. Oliver Perez was filthy for a while. I watched him as a rookie in San Diego, but that's a whole nother conversation. Hey, Seth, what's going on? Buck was, he was so nice. Did you get to meet him too? Oh, very good. See, Seth knows. What a neat man, right? I never saw him play, but I loved him. Anyway, Sandy Koufax is one of those people who left the Dodgers. He used to come to spring training every year and work with the rookies. He stopped coming because he was disrespected by the ownership. Steve Garvey left. Lots of Dodger legends left, and some didn't come back. They brought him back a couple years ago and said, hey, we want to put a bronze statue in Dodger Stadium. They've got Jackie Robinson now. They want to put Sandy Koufax out there. That's the top of the top in L.A. at the stadium. Well, they make the announcement, and then we have COVID, and we have all this. I'm excited to say that in June, the Dodgers are going to be putting that up.
That's cool.
And I'm glad because he's getting up there. He's like in his mid-80s. Let's make this happen before he leaves us. I'm excited about
like that. You said, under the past ownership, that's criminal. I mean,
it is.
Guys that made your franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, there was the guys from the 50s, and he was definitely,
yes, Joby, he
60s.
is.
He was the Dodgers in the 60s.
Yeah, I mean, what a rotation, by the way. Don Newcomb wins the rookie year in the MVP the same year. Don Drysdale, Sandy Koufax. I mean, how are they ever beaten? Those 3. I mean, but yeah, Sandy, and that's the thing. We need to get this done before he's not around. I mean, just horrible. Not just horrible. Just sad that he had to retire because of the arthritis so early. We didn't have him. He wasn't even very good early on. The story about Sandy Koufax is he was a fireballer. He was throwing it insane velocity. And they finally a catcher comes out and says, listen, throw it at 90%. Just throw your fastball. It's good enough to get out major league hitters. And once he did that, he wasn't throwing it as hard as he could every time. Everything clicked. Isn't that silly that it's just that simple?
And his curve supposedly was another thing that shortened his career.
Yeah, well, probably. Yeah. We certainly didn't teach the pitches the same way. Seth's got it right. Dodgers, Yankees had some great series. 55, 63, 65, 77, 78, 81, all Dodgers, Yankees World Series. Are you freaking kidding me? What an amazing history. I'm a huge fan. In 77, I watched Reggie Jackson. I was 7 years old in 77, and I watched Reggie Jackson blast 3 home runs, 5 in the series, 3 in one game. But I'm still mad at Reggie for bumping he's in the pickle. He throws his hip and gets hit, and Garvey points at him. And I've hated Reggie Jackson ever since.
Oh, you Dodgers fans.
Anyway, let's move on. Staying with the Dodgers. Oh, go ahead.
One thing, though, you're talking about the teams taking care of their older players. That's one thing that I loved when I did the Twins games, and I talked about it before. The players that they had there every year, Tony Oliva, Harmon Killebrew, every year they had their players back, and I was like in awe sitting in the dugout, taking pictures of the game. talking to Rod Carew. I mean, here's one of the 10 best hitters of all time talking to some schmuck photographer from New Jersey. And I mean, I was in my glory. And what a great guy. Tony Oliva, he's a riot. I mean, you could.
I've heard that. I had a friend
broken Englishman. He is a riot.
I don't know that I ever told you this. I had a friend who met up with him at a bar, and they were she was hanging out, and his group was hanging out, and she knew that I was a baseball fan. She reached out to me and said, "Do you know this guy?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
It was just, and I only got to meet Killebrew once or twice.
Well, Killebrew's a beast.
And then he started getting, his health went down, and then he passed away. Tom Kelly was another one, their manager that, you know, brought the World Series to Minnesota. He was there every year. But just real quick, and then we'll go.
You're good. You're good.
But Rod Carew, I got talking to him the one day, and his thing was he would have loved to have been a manager, and he just couldn't take the attitudes. And what brought it up was that all these young, it was early on, so it was full of the, you know, the invitees, you know, that were invited to early spring, and they were there, and he's talking to me in the dugout. I'm like, Mr. Carew, why aren't they in here chewing your ear? One of the 10 best hitters of all times, and they're in there goofing off and joking around. I said, if that was me trying to make this team, I said, you would be swatting me away, trying to get rid of me. I mean, that guy's got so much knowledge in his head, and nobody was taking advantage of it. And that was his biggest thing. He said he couldn't take the attitudes, but he would have loved doing managing. I think he would have been a great manager, because
hitting coach at the minimum. My goodness.
Oh my God, he was a fantastic, not a big power hitter, but man, he was a craftsman with the bat. He reminded me of Gwynn.
I was just going to say that.
He reminded me of Gwynn. He could put the ball wherever he wanted it.
I grew up in San Diego, and they were horrible. I could walk up and get tickets. I could sit in the front row anywhere I wanted for 4 or 5 years when I was a young boy, and I did. And I saw Tony Gwynn a lot, and he didn't do it. He didn't look like Carew, but boy, did they do the same thing. Like that 5-6 hole, he put it where he wanted. You know, I think Gwynn had a little more power when he wanted to, but very comparable careers and hitters, and I love it. Lots of great questions, a lot of great comments. Let's get to one more topic real fast, and then let's hit any questions, comments, and concerns. We'll finish up with that. We haven't talked about, well, two more. Adrian Gonzalez left the Dodgers mad, came back. He's going to be on the broadcasting booth. It's a small thing, but I'm excited about it. We're going to be Dodger and Ranger heavy when I talk, Philly heavy when he talks. I'm excited about it because I've always liked Adrian Gonzalez. I think there's a very Mexican-American culture, heritage there in LA. He's all in on that. I think it's going to be a great fit. I'm excited he came back. First pick of the draft a couple years. He was a San Diego kid, so I've always been a fan of his. And then Trevor Story, great kid, great athlete. We haven't talked about him too much. Could he end up in New York? Could he be the shortstop in New York? I really love this kid. Bunch of steals, bunch of power, great glove. What say you? Where do you think it's going to go? And then after this, put your questions in the.
I don't know where he's going to go, but wherever he's going to go, it's definitely going to be a plus for the team. I mean,
he's great.
Oh,
I'd rather have him than Correa. Now, that's probably me being a Dodger fan and hating on Correa, but I would rather Correa seems like a you know what, and Trevor's just a freaking great guy. I know a guy who knows somebody who knows the family, and all I hear is great stuff from what I hear about. He's a great kid. I want him. I mean, we don't need him in LA. We don't need him in Texas, but boy, would I be a fan of his if he was on one of my teams.
And it's a shame that he's got to leave Colorado, because that was a perfect fit for him being in Colorado.
Well, maybe he stays. I don't think he will. I wouldn't, but maybe he does.
Yeah.
FPEN Sports says we're 12 away from 100 likes, guys. If you're still here, I love you for it. I appreciate you for it. If you just got here or you've been here the whole time, thank you. Please smash the like button. I don't know how much longer we're going to go. I'm good. I love this. But now is the time to put your questions or your follow-up or whatever in the chat. You have a question for us about Bill, why he's a Phillies fan, about me, how come I got so smart and was a Dodger fan, or just any of these stories, or you got your own story, let me know. Bunch of great questions. There's one. Jumpin' Bill, what was the greatest lineup of all time? I'm assuming you mean team. I think it's too easy to say the 27 Yankees, but I think that's the right answer. Are you freaking kidding me? But I will throw in the 61 Yankees too. I'm not a Yankees fan, but Maris 61, Mantle 56. That's pretty freaking good.
I don't know. The 80s Phillies, they're right up there.
80s Phillies. All right, let's see what we can do. So Gary Maddox, Larry Boa, Schmitty. Who's at second? Oh my God.
Manny Trio at second.
Manny Trio, I liked him. Who's your first baseman?
Ooh.
I got nothing. Greg Luzinski out in left.
Rose was the first baseman.
Who?
Rose.
Oh, that's right. Greg Luzinski in left.
Bob Boone behind the plate.
Yeah, Booney. I love Booney. Who was your right fielder?
Bake McBride.
Bake McBride. Best hair in baseball.
Oh, I don't know. Oscar Gamble back in the day. He had
okay. You got me. Same thing, basically. Hair wise, at least. Pitching. I mean, I don't know. You got there. You must have had somebody, but
yeah, Carlton. You had.
That's right.
Tim McCarver. Not Tim McCarver.
Tug
McGraw.
Well, so I'm watching 1883. I'm watching his son right now. Interesting. Good stuff. Yeah, Booney, great catcher. 3 generations. Aaron and Brett, Bob, and then was it Ray? Ray was the grandpa, right?
Yeah, I believe he played for Cleveland, right?
Ray? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Oscar Gamble had the best hair. So in 77, so my first year as a fan, I was 7 years old, 1977. Yeah, I'm 52, you math people. Stop trying to figure it out. Anyway, 77 is my favorite year. I got 77. That's my 77 tops, mostly done set right there. I love the 77 season. One of my favorite cards is a 77 Oscar Gamble. He was on the Padres, my local team back then. Yes. Best hair. I think it was the 77, might have been the 76 tops card where he's with the Indians and the big hair. Great freaking card. Oh, Larry Christensen. There's a Phillies fan for you. Look at that.
True story. I used to collect playoff rings or World Series rings and stuff like that. I had Larry Christensen's 1983 National League playoff.
You had the real one?
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. My buddy, my personal bully, her actual name is Jessie. She lives about an hour from Field of Dreams. From what I've heard about Iowa, that's a bummer. But I mean, what a beautiful area from what I can see. Why are you in Iowa? Kruk. John Kruk, 87 with the Padres. Loved watching him hit that great, oh my gosh, that hilarious one-on-one with Randy Johnson in the playoffs, or excuse me, in the All-Star game where he puts the helmet on backwards. So good. But he's still a legend now. Isn't he still an announcer in Philly?
Who's that? Kruk?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I believe he's still going to be with them this year. He was last year. Oh, I love Kruk.
Look at all these Phillies fans. We got Dalton. I loved him. Dykstra. He's having a rough life. Pray for that man. Yeah. Jafar says, I like Aaron, but not sure about him as a manager. You know, I didn't get to meet him. I got to be with him. I have a long career at the Boys and Girls Clubs, and we put him in the Boys and Girls Clubs of America Hall of Fame. And it was nice. He's just, you know, he's obviously passed. I didn't have a personal meetup with him, but I got to be in a little room actually a big room. What a nice man. From what I saw, the little interaction I had with him, what a nice man. And honestly, about Hank Aaron, I don't know if you're going to agree with this, Bill, but I mean this. Underrated. And I know he's one of the greatest players of all time, but I find him underrated. I mean, look at the stats, look at the attitude, look at what he had to go through.
And there probably wasn't a more humble guy than Hank Aaron.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. That's why we built it so we could, so they would come. I love that movie. I do. You know what? I don't want to go to Iowa, but if I go to Iowa, I'm going to that place. That's for sure.
I'd like to go there.
I know we had some other great questions in the chat.
I got one here from I don't know what's happening with my video there. I'm sorry about that.
Did you say something about your greatest lineup? Did you give your answer?
Yeah, I believe that the 27 Yankees has to be a murderer's row. I mean, that wasn't a more feared lineup. I would have loved to have seen them play, but
Ruth and Gehrig. I mean, that's enough, right?
Yeah.
Ruth and Gehrig, and then but the 61. Maris, his best year ever, and Mantle is probably his best year ever.
That would.
Oh, you meant? I'm sorry, Jafar. You meant Aaron Boone of the Yanks. I had a Hank Aaron conversation that all day. I'm sorry.
Another question we had here is from Jeffrey.
Please.
Yeah, I'm happy about David Ortiz being in, but again, we talked about it earlier. The question with steroids and guys getting to the Hall of Fame. David Ortiz was linked to steroids. Should it keep him out? I mean, his stats over the years, he was a great player. And when he was a good player in Minnesota, he wasn't a great player. He became a great player when he went to Boston. I mean, he just
too, right?
Yeah, he just blew up. I mean, there you go. His personality with all this stuff over the years in Boston and all, he was the perfect fit for Boston.
So it's the argument and the conversation. Let me say it this way: the conversation about David Ortiz, I find interesting because we ignore Manny. Manny provided the coverage for him. Manny was the more feared hitter.
Yeah.
Manny was the better hitter, and no one's sniffing Manny for Hall of Fame. And I think it's because of the steroids thing.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me that Ortiz is clearly going to get in and Manny's clearly going to not. Manny, probably the greatest right-handed hitter of my era, my fandom era. Ortiz ain't. Ortiz isn't even the best DH, probably. He might be, but you probably say Edgar Martinez. So I find the argument weird. I think Manny Ramirez, skill-wise, as good as anybody I've ever seen. Hitting.
Yeah,
I'm not kidding.
I
don't say that about David Ortiz.
He was a goofball, but you had to love him when he was in Boston.
Cloud9 Getaways in the house, one of the sponsors of the network. Welcome in. I'm so glad you're here. I appreciate you doing what you do for the network. I'm brand new to the network, and this is a good place to say my name is Jeff Bates. Dole Whip Dad is my YouTube channel. That is Bill Sr. He's a great guy. He's a Phillies fan. I'm a Dodgers fan. Check out Magic the Mouse Radio. Hopefully the links are in the description. I don't even know if I sent them over, to be honest with you. I hope I did, but we're going to be doing this every Monday night, and it's a big thank you to a couple people. We're not done yet unless you guys want to be done, but I'm having a blast with this. We'll be here every Monday night. Thank you to everybody who's listening. Thank you to the members of the network. Thank you to the sponsors of the network. Thank you to producer Dave, who's hiding in the background. I think we're probably not making it as easy on him as we said, because I gave him a list and we put it in order and we all screwed it up. Dave, you're welcome. Get used to it. This is the way it's going to be. I love it. Our President Leach says Yankees on the 1 yard line to sign Freddie Freeman. I don't think so. They have 99 more yards to go. Oh, exactly. Exactly, Leach. Look at you, fooled me. I love it. Should we just accept the steroid era and let players in regardless? Yes. Yes.
Hey, Bud Selig's in, and he let it happen.
I like that. I need somebody to clip that, but put my face and my voice on that, because that was so good. I want that to be something I said. That's exactly freaking right. Jeffrey says, Dave, your sports channel is a great YouTube channel. I agree, and I love it. You know what my favorite show is? The baseball show. You know why? It's this one. I love it. I'm having a great time, and I hope you are too. That is such a good point, Bill. I agree so much.
We'll have to, maybe after about 2 or 3 weeks, Dave will get the feeling he's got 2 guys with ADD in here.
I mean, it is what it is. And I like the interaction with the chat. You guys have been a great chat. And I love the questions. I love I could talk baseball at my mirror all day long. Me and Bill could talk baseball all day long. And it's fun. It's great. But you guys are making it 12 steps above it. I love yakking about baseball. And you know what? I will throw this out there. In this new day and age of everyone cries over everyone else's opinion, this is one of the last places, I hope, at least I think so, maybe you guys are going to disagree with me, that we can agree to disagree and not hate each other, right? Like, you know what? Don't listen, Bill. I love Bill. He's a great guy. He doesn't understand what's on his head. But other than that, he's pretty. No, I don't believe in timeouts.
The Disney fanatic here.
What'd he say?
He just made it to my Baseball Hall of Fame.
Oh, we'll get to it in a minute. I love that we can agree to disagree in a civil way. And for me, Barry Bonds going to the Hall of Fame, Pete Rose going to the Hall of Fame, Sandy Koufax, the greatest left-hander of all time, Dodgers versus the Phillies. This is the conversations that we need to have, because A, it's fun, B, we deserve it, because oh my gosh, 2019, 2020, 2021, you guys are stupid years. Let's have some fun again. Let's just have some enjoyment. Let's enjoy each other, and let's learn how to love each other, even though Bill's wrong and he's a freaking Phillies fan. What say you, Bill?
Yeah. You're never gonna change me. I love the Phillies. Sorry, I was reading chat there.
I can tell. That's
I
right.
tend to ignore Jeff at times. He's kind of like my mother when I was a kid. One in this ear and out the other. Kind of tune him out.
I've got a mother joke too, but I won't say it. Disney Fanatics best pitching rotation of all time. 2010 Phillies.
I love Roy Halladay,
Oswalt, Holiday, and Hamels. That was a pretty good one.
Gene brings up a good point.
Gene, where's that?
Just below, a couple below there.
This
the
one on
70s Orioles. The Orioles had a pitching rotation back in
Palmer and Flanagan and Cuellar. Who else did we have? They have 5, really? Palmer, Flanagan, Cuellar. Who am I missing? Help me out.
Didn't they have one year they had 3 pitchers get 20 wins? Or was it
5 20-game winners? I don't know. I'm not thinking of who else I'm missing. Jim Palmer for sure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Steve Stone wasn't there yet, was he?
I think he came a little later. Mike
Cuellar, I'm pretty sure. Who am I missing? Gene, help me out. I need to know. Hey, 70s Orioles trivia. That's hard. There's not. Good thing we're old. That's what I'm going to say. I know there were some other questions or comments. I love 1998, the home run chase saved baseball. Cloud9 knows exactly. I totally agree. FPEN Sports, loving it, guys. I'm having a ball. I'm glad you're having a ball. Guys, let me know. Let us know in the chat, or even better, for engagement for the network. Go back afterwards. It's going to take a while to render. Come back tomorrow. Come back tonight. Leave a comment. Make sure you like the stream. If you haven't subscribed to the network, subscribe to the freaking network, people. Of course, if you haven't hit the notifications, what's wrong with you? Hit the notifications. It's not just us. They've got hockey shows. I'm not going to. He's got more coming. You're going to want to be around here. But listen, the baseball season hasn't even started. Every Monday night at this time, me and Bill are going to be talking. We're going to be watching the ball game, and I'm going to consider it a watch party, and we're going to do exactly this. Now, we're going to talk the history like we talked about. I collect crap. Bill collects crap. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. Where's Pete, right? Where you at, Pete? Baltimore. Yeah, he's a Baltimore guy. I want you to come back. I want you to be a member of this network. I want you to fall in love with the show. And let us know if you've got a question, comment, or concern. You can always email me, dolewhipdad@gmail.com, dolewhipdad@gmail.com. Tell me about the show, what you like, what you want to hear, what you collect, whatever. Bill, where can they get a hold of you?
My email is Bill Senior, BILL, SR @WDIZDB.com.
We would love to get some comments. It's our first show. I'm happy. I love this stuff, but I want to listen to you. I want to hear what you want to know. Hear what you want to know about, hear what you want to hear about, especially with historical stuff, because obviously the news of the day is the stuff we're going to talk about. Lived in St. Louis that season. So much fun. Very nice. My dad was a big Cardinals fan, so I've always kind of liked to hate the Cardinals, even though I never really meant it. What a classy organization. So I was just going to say how much longer you want to go. I can't go if we're 8 away from 100. So if you want, I need you to hit the like button, people. Hit the like button. Get them to 100 likes. I don't know if that's good or bad for the network. I have no freaking idea, but come on, it's a big round number.
One question I wanted to go back to, it was back a little bit now, but the co-host here wouldn't shut the hell up, so I couldn't answer.
And I never will.
Somebody asked about Wheeler for the Phillies. Will he be ready by opening day? I would think he would be, but I wouldn't be unhappy if he took an extra week or two, because I know he's a little slow in coming back from some off-season stuff. So he probably won't be ready the first week. I think they'd be smart to play it safe with him, since it's a short spring, and especially for the pitchers, that hurts the pitchers the most. I mean, as we found out in 2020 during the pandemic, when they tried to come back after starting spring training and then bringing it back up a couple months later. But I would be okay if Wheeler wasn't ready for the first 2 weeks of the season,
just to be safe.
Yeah. I mean, because he's it. I mean, he's the frontline guy there, and that was a hell of a pickup last year for the Phillies.
He was elite. Disney Fanatics. So I was off. McNally, I think it was Dave McNally. I wouldn't swear to that. And then is it Pat Dobson? I think it was Pat Dobson. I mean, those are names I know, but that's not who I would have predicted. That
was definitely a stud rotation.
Yeah, I mean, Earl Weaver. I think as a young man, Earl Weaver scared me because he was always yelling at an umpire on the highlights.
You had to love him then.
What I did, I do. I said, you know what's wrong with umpires? Everything. Get off my field. Stop ruining my game. But come on, some really good ball players. Eddie Murray comes to mind. Obviously, Cal Ripken. We're talking about the 80s now when I say Ripken, and these guys are 70s guys. But I guess Murray was a rookie in 78, so kind of bridged the gap. But pretty good teams. I mean, when I was brand new baseball fan, the Orioles were kind of at the top of their game. Now they've had some rough time over the last few years, but Peter Angelos is.
I got a question for you. I mean, you were a little bit behind me. What's your first baseball memory?
My first baseball memory. I don't know. I mean, I have my first playing memory. I have my first collecting memory. My dad playing slow pitch softball, I believe. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to think.
It should have meant pro baseball, but that's a good memory to have. While you're thinking
pro baseball, I can tell you what it was. My grandma. So I'm picturing it. I'm at my grandma's house in Los Angeles, California. I'm a little guy. And she's listening to a radio, and it's the Dodgers. She was a big Dodgers fan. I don't know what year it would have been. It's mid 70s, probably, maybe 75 when I would have been 5, maybe 74 when Steve Garvey won the MVP. I don't know. She's not around anymore. I'd love to ask her, but she would listen to. I would go. They lived in LA. We lived in San Diego, and we would go there up there for the summers, and we would hang out for a while. And she would be listening to Dodger games in the afternoon or in the evening at the kitchen table. 2 likes away, people. I need 2 more likes. Come on, they're gonna fire us if you don't hit 2 more likes. We get to 100. We might not have a job next Monday night. So smash the freaking like button, people. But I think it's probably listening to Vin frickin' Scully talking to me and my grandma about Steve Garvey or Davey Lopes or somebody in the mid 70s. So what about you?
Probably I have 2. One, like I said, I used to have the transistor radio underneath the headphone, listening to the old Phillies broadcaster at the end of his career by Sam. He was like Vin Scully and like all the other greats. He was fantastic calling the games. But probably I wish I was little bit older. I know I hate saying that, but I wish I was a little bit older. I guess it was like the Mickey Mantle retired in what, 69?
69, yeah.
67 or 68. I was like 5 or 6 years old. I started watching baseball, and being we're close to New York, we got the two New York channels that played the Yankees and the Mets games, and I got to see a few games of the end of Mickey Mantle's career, and I would have loved to seen him in his prime. That's a question I'm going to have for you for next week. You can. I'll give you a week to think about it. If there's one player that you would love to go back and watch a game, watch them play in their prime, who would it be?
We might be the whole hour talking about that one. That's a great question. I will tell you this: when I collect a lot of stuff, I've told you, and some of it I've kept, and some of it I moved along. But one thing that I think I still own is the '69 program from Mickey Mantle Day in New York, and it had the neat insert. And
oh, cool! I still got in my parents' house in the living room in one of the drawers. I got. I guess it was 68 or 69. My dad and my grandfather took me up to the old stadium in Philadelphia, and they were playing San Francisco. McCovey, Bond Sr. I kept the score, and the names that were in that score sheet were unbelievable.
McCovey and his career in San Diego, I got to see him a little bit. Jeffrey wants to know, do we think Chris Sale will have a great year? I'll answer first. I don't. I think it's more likely that his elbow gets bent the wrong way. He's elite. He's fun to watch, but that torque he puts on that elbow from the low slot, wow, that's one of the reasons why he's so freaking hard to hit. I think it's more likely that he doesn't, but
he pitched
would it make a difference for them.
He pitched a game or two, relief last year or at the end of last year. I know.
Yeah, I believe so.
And usually them guys coming back from Tommy John. This year, it'll be getting his feet wet again. Next year will tell, I think.
I mean, that's a huge plus for them if he's healthy and elite. But if I were a betting man, I wouldn't bet 50 innings. Cloud9 says mine would be Clemente. That's a great one. One of my best friends in the world, a huge Clemente fan. So that's a great call.
Okay, when I was working for the company in California, I was doing spring training down in Fort Myers, I got asked to go over to the college over in Fort Myers by the airport, Florida Gulf Coast, and that's where Sale went to college. And they were playing a game against Michigan. That was right the year he got drafted. And man, what a string bean he was, and unbelievable.
You know what? He was so tall and skinny. I was watching baseball tonight. In between my shows, I went and had dinner, put on MLB Network or whatever. And I listened to somebody describe a prospect, one of the prospects in the trade, 6'2", 190, and they called him little. 6'2", 190, and they called him little.
Yeah.
What the heck? The world's changing. Listen, we talked about Matt Olson, the big trade. If you're coming here late, I'm going to review real quick. Matt Olson, the huge trade, what that means for Freddie Freeman. I believe he's coming to L.A. New York flat out said they don't think he's going to come to New York anymore. The Braves are out. New York basically believes, talking about the Yankees here, that he was either going to Atlanta or L.A. His wife, Freddie Freeman's wife, gave us a little hint on Instagram. We talked about it early. If you didn't see it when the show's over, you can watch the replay and check it out. Fernando Tatis, I think he's lying. I think he broke his wrist falling off the motorcycle in December. We'll see if anything comes of it. I don't think it will, but boy, does that screw the Padres. That's interesting. The Reds fire sale. Sonny Gray's gone. Suarez is gone. Winker's gone. Koufax statue going in LA. Adrian Gonzalez going back to LA as an announcer. Where's Korea going? We don't know. I think Houston or New York. Trevor Story, where he's going. I think maybe New York too, but he can't go to both. Colorado might be the home for Chris Bryant. Steroids. Should they matter in the Hall of Fame? We talked about because of one of the questions. Anything that we didn't get to, Bill, that you wanted to get to?
The one thing that I wanted to get to was the story about Pete Alonso.
Thank you. Yes.
On his way to spring training, got in a car accident with his wife, and supposedly the car flipped over 3 times.
His wife posted some video of the aftermath, and they are lucky to be alive.
He had to kick out the windshield to get out of the car.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Woo. Wow, that's rough.
He said, he's feeling awful lucky today. He said.
There you go. Pete Alonso was in a brutal accident. There it is. Pete Alonso's wife. That's exactly the video. Haley just posted that video. You can run it if you want. I mean, it's up to you, but it's rough. There you go. It's a bad deal. I'm just thank the Lord that they're not dead.
And that doesn't look like a car. It looks like either an SUV or that's a truck. Yeah.
It looks like what happens when the Raiders drive in Vegas. Right. Too soon?
Yeah, Super Duty. Rolled the Super Duty over 3 times.
Boy, look at that. Oh my gosh. Seriously, thank you, Lord, that he is alive. Unbelievable. I mean, I'm not an Alonso fan. I'm not a Mets fan, but I'm a human being freaking fan. I mean, look at that. That's real life right there. I've been in some car accidents. My car's never looked at that, and that's terrifying. So yeah, you know what? hug your wife, hug your kids, and you never know what's going to happen. But I'm glad he's okay. Best right fielder of all time, Cloud9. I think this is probably the easiest question I've ever been asked. You want to be wrong, or you want me to tell you the right answer?
Ted Williams.
Babe Ruth. What are you talking about?
Ted Williams, best all around.
Ruth.
Best all around.
This is the kind of stuff that I've got to put up with, people. Babe Ruth, the greatest player of all time, is clearly the best right fielder of all time.
I go all around. Ted Williams was a hell of a fielder, hell of a hitter.
Okay. Babe Ruth was hitting 60 home runs when the most ever before that was 14 or something.
What was he doing when he wasn't hitting home runs?
Drinking in the outfield. Who cares?
Eating hot dogs and having a beer in the dugout.
Dating girls from the stands. I mean, Babe Ruth. Duh. I'd love to go back and watch Andy Stankiewicz. Well, I did not expect an Andy Stankiewicz reference in our chat. So you know what? We should keep track of the most random chat we get each week. Can somebody clip that? I'd love to go back and watch Andy Stankiewicz. Probably something that's never been uttered on YouTube. Somebody clip that. Make it a clip. Yanks don't sign a shortstop this offseason. Yeah, I don't know. Is it Korea? Is it Story? Is it Isaiah from the Rangers and the Twins? And then there. First memory is Callis, Ashburn. Oh, is that Muser? Wheeler announcing Phillies games in 79 or 80. I love that.
Yeah, they were Wheeler. Yeah, Andy Musser. I loved Andy Musser. Wheeler, I could take or leave, but Cal, Ashburn, and Musser. I'm
sorry. Keep going.
But I'll throw a name out here to Gene. He's going to throw out an Andy Stankiewicz.
Gene hit his head. Whatever he's got.
Yeah, Gene. Let me see if you ever heard of this catcher that used to play for the Atlanta Braves, Biff Pocoroba.
Biff Pocoroba talk. I love Biff Pocoroba. You know I love Biff Pocoroba. Dodger killer, buddy with my godfather. From the I'll tell you what, he's from the Valley. He was a Valley boy before there were Valley boys, because that's where my family's from. Best player of all time, Billy Martin. Best Oakland A's manager of all time. Notice I didn't say Yankees. Best Oakland A's manager of all time, Billy freaking Martin. Except for all those pitchers. Mike Norris for 400 innings.
The name's slipping me, but the ones their manager from the early 70s, it's got
the A's.
Well, you go back to the old guy there back in when they were in Philadelphia.
We've had enough Philadelphia talk.
That's when the A's were the A's.
Whatever. Billy Martin. I was a big fan of Billy Martin because he's crazy, but boy, what a putz. My first memory was of Scooter, Phil Rizzuto. So we're talking about great announcers. Have I told you what great announcer called me on the phone? No, excuse me. Wrote me a letter. Sorry. The greatest manager of all time called me on the phone. The greatest announcer of all time wrote me a letter.
Were you involved in Make-A-Wish? Like, how did you?
I have been involved in Make-A-Wish, but on the other side, thank you very much. Love that organization, by the way. But no. I've been blessed. I've had some neat. Well, you have too. I've taught you, and that's one of the things that we'll share throughout the show. I mean, we do have some cool stories. I mean, honestly, Art Howe got screwed. Changing subjects. Art Howe got screwed on Moneyball. True or false?
Oh,
he got screwed. He's a nice man.
But,
good manager.
Well, they played him out in the movie to be a douche. Yeah.
Can I say that? Is that a bad word on?
Yeah, it's after 11. Cloud9 has a thing here. Joe Buck. One of my favorite calls of all time is when Ozzie hit the home run.
Oh, what home run?
Who was that against?
Tom freaking Niedenfuer, you jerk. 1985.
But that was one of my favorite calls.
I was having such a good time. He looked like such a jerk. Art Howe in Moneyball was made out to be such a bad guy.
He was a good player in his day, Art Howe.
He was very good. Houston Astros, right? Yeah, very good. Absolutely. I feel like there was another question I want to scan up. One of the things I can't do is I can't scan up the chat. So once it's gone, it's gone. They have a couple of times. Somebody asked a question I wanted to get to. I didn't write it down. I think we've done enough damage. Who's your favorite announcer of all time? We'll end with that since we're talking about announcers. And the answer is Vin Scully.
Well,
there you go. Producer says bottom of the night. I like that. There you go.
I like. I didn't hear him enough, but I definitely like Vin Scully. I mean, how could you not like him? The one I would have loved to have heard, and is you go to the Baseball Hall of Fame and you go to the one wing and you'll hear old announcers and they'll have old radio clips. Red Barber, I would have loved.
Oh yeah, he was
announced by Red Barber.
Well, and that's where Vin learned from Red Barber, didn't he? I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Harry Collis, that's a great one. Another Philly. We got all these Phillies fans. What the heck?
By was a great announcer back
Say again. What?
By he was a great announcer.
Is that what noise? Well, I need it one more time. What?
By some.
Buy some what?
He was the Phillies announcer for years.
How much does it cost to buy some? I have no idea what you're talking about. Rizzuto, I've heard he was great. Funny voice. Jack Buck. I'm not a big fan of the Buck announcing.
I like the dad better than the son.
Oh, yeah. You see the contract that kid's getting?
Yeah.
I guess he's not a kid anymore.
Yeah.
Holy. Hey, kids, if you can't throw left-handed, here's what you need to learn how to do. Talk. Are you kidding me? Troy Aikman, big contract. Chris Collinsworth, Al Michaels, Joe Buck, these people are making bank, but good for them. Last year when the World Series, Joe Buck did a nice tribute to Jerry Remy. You know what? Jerry Remy, I loved him. That whole 77 top set, if you're in that set, I probably liked you. Jerry Remy was good. I'm talking about not the announcer now, the ball player. Yeah. You know, scrappy little second baseman, right? Little left-handed hitter. I loved watching that guy.
And he had a tough life after baseball, though, too. I believe his son's in prison for murder.
Well, and his physical, he was sick for a while, and then we lost him recently. I think our damage here is done, Bill. Have we missed anything at all?
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, if you ever watched The Little Rascals when you were a kid, the one thing when they went to the radio station and the guy in the control booth at the end had enough and just started smashing the tubes with a hammer.
Yes. We need that as an ending.
That's what Dave's looking like in backstage now.
Breaking Ball, or what is it called? What's it called? I forgot. Breaking Balls, weekly baseball recap live here on the FBE Sports Network. See, I'm just reading all the words live, 122:47. I'm running out of things to say. I am really glad you guys were here today. I didn't look at the numbers too much, but it wasn't zero. Mom, are you here? I don't think it was just my mom in chat. I'm not sure if my mom was here. My point is, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Bill. I appreciate producer Dave in the background. I appreciate everybody at the FBE Network. All the members of the FBE Network. Thank you for being members. If you're not a member of the FPE Network, what are you doing? Hurry up. Become a member. Give them some love. Support us through supporting them. If you want to see more about Bill, well, I guess it's more about Bill. Go check out Magic of the Mouse Radio. It's Disney music 24/7. It's awesome. I love it. I'm Dole Whip Dad over on YouTube. That's the name of the channel. I'm still Jeff over there, but Dole Whip Dad's the name of the channel. I hope you guys had fun. If you did, here's how you prove it. Like the stream. Subscribe to the network and show up next Monday. Billy, what do you want to say besides the Phillies suck?
Yep, we'll see.
Phillies hoping to be in the top half of the league this year. I gotta get more Dodger stuff. I think we're done. Should I end it the same way I end my other stuff? I probably need a new outro, huh?
Yeah, Dodgers suck. We'll see you next week.
Bye for now, everybody. Thanks for being here. Have a good night. See ya.
Okay, everybody, coming up on the FPE Network, we're going to have on Sunday, Coast to Coast Disney, Monday, the Evening with Magical Lifestyle. If you missed the show just before this, you missed out on Michael James Scott, who is the genie for Aladdin. So make sure you tune back in, go watch the replay of An Evening with the Magical Lifestyle with Piano Rob and Gene Fitzmagic. Also, make sure that you go over and check out our partner channel, The Pete McDevitt Show. Doing football, baseball, NCAA, you name it, it's Pete. Also, great Disney content. Make sure you check him out. He's our friend. Get over, check out Pete McDevitt. You are watching the FPE Sports Channel, where we have shows like Even Strength and Breaking Balls. More to come. We're going to have wrestling, NASCAR, basketball, you name it, it's coming. Also, pay attention to Coast Disney on Sundays. We like theme parks coming up on Tuesday. Around the Magic on Wednesday. Thursday, pay attention for Star Wars with the Galactic Council. Thursday, we have Disney Underground. And on Friday, Clash of the Magic. More to come, everybody. We have big news. We've also opened a new channel today. It is FPEN Travel. So make sure you get over and check that out as well. We want to thank the guys tonight for calling a great thing. It was absolutely epic to have baseball on the network tonight. So we want to thank them. Support them by throwing in some comments down below. And tell them how much that you absolutely love this. So until next week, for Jeff, Bill Sr., I'm your producer, Dave. We'll see you then.